Elder aging. No. Senior works. Where is it?
It is, it's the 14th, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So like when we get to that, we can talk about that.
Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Alrighty. Sorry here.
Mm-hmm.
Turn off my phone here. Good morning and happy summer, everyone. Welcome to the monthly meeting of the Shrewsbury Council on Aging Board of Directors. Today is August 14th. It's 9:30 a.m. The board adheres to the open meetings law and follows Robert's Rules of Order. These meetings are streamed by the Town of Shrewsbury Cable, which may be found on the Shrewsbury Town website. There's a link there. I am Alex Roman, chairperson of the board. Council on Aging staff in attendance are Holly Luke, Director of the Council on Aging, Casey Bogan, Assistant Director, and Renee D'Argento, Outreach Coordinator. Other board members, I'll let you each introduce yourselves.
Good morning. My name's Larry Mayon.
Ruth Scala,
Meenu Sharma.
Okay, and we have two openings on the board. Jean Campagnello has moved on to be a board member with the library, and Betsy Zuig has been asked to take on additional responsibilities at Quinsigamond Community College, and so we will need to fill those two positions and also the Jean's position as vice chair, which we'll talk about shortly. First item on the agenda, second technically, is to act on the June 24 minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes? They're quite extensive. If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
so moved.
Second? Any discussion? I guess not. Those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on, the financial reports.
Yep.
Holly.
Yep. So I had emailed all of the board members, letting them know that accounting still hasn't finished the fiscal year 24 year end. So to deliver munis reports would have been rather confusing. So I had suggested and provided a link to our spreadsheet for our FY25 finances. So without going over all of them, if anybody has any particular questions to anything that you've seen since July 1 leading up to the present date or anything else, I'm happy to answer any questions.
When I click on the link, it kept saying unauthorized, so.
Let's see. So I just put you in there, Meenu. If in the future you get something like that, just let me know right away. That way I can share that with you.
Okay, sure.
Does anybody else have any questions about the finance?
I just saw one thing in the budget part of it, in the salary area. There was a $4,000 line that sort of was undesignated. I was just wondering what that was. There was health benefits and other things listed, and then there was one line that seemed to not have a descriptor.
On the spreadsheet that I sent to you?
Yeah, on the link.
Because I don't have anything with health benefits on.
No, it was undesignated. It was a $4,000 line.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh, services not classified?
Yeah.
So what that is the town in the operating budget allows us to have $4,000 for unforeseen circumstances. So many times, like last year, it fell if one of our kitchen appliances wasn't working and it needed to be repaired or replaced. That same thing will happen. We put in an air conditioner in the kitchen area for them. So those are the unforeseen services not
I
classified.
was guessing that's what it was.
Yeah.
But
Anything else on the financial reports? It's obviously early in the fiscal year, and they're still finishing up FY '24, which is pretty common to take a little time to do that. Anything else? All right. The vice chair opening. So, as I mentioned, Jean Campaniello has left the board to go with one of the library boards, the foundation board. It's their gain, our loss. So we will need to fill her position as vice chair. Is there any discussion on that? Since it's new to some of you, we may want to postpone this a month
They were
and
very
give it more
new.
thought, lobbying. There's a lot of rights and privileges that go along with that. But anyway, feel free to call me. I can give you my contact information if you don't.
Should we take a motion on that to postpone it till next week, next meeting?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Is
So
there a motion?
I propose that we put off the discussion on the vice chair position until our next meeting in September. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Second by Minu. Any discussion? Those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and that'll give time to perhaps fill the open positions so we can have their input also. Okay, we have two representatives from the Friends group, the Friends of the Senior Center here, one of whom would like to speak, but we need a motion to amend the agenda to include a report from the Friends.
So moved.
Moved, second?
Second?
I presume no discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay. Maria Smith, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Thanks for having us.
Madam President.
Before I give you our little update, may I just ask, Mr. Chair, what is the criteria for someone becoming a board member of the COA?
I think preferably they're a senior, over 60, and they're a citizen of Shrewsbury. And other than that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you would have to ask the town manager's office,
Right. Is there a staff member that someone could contact?
just the town manager's office,
Just
somebody.
go with that,
yeah.
and there'll be a
So
staff.
is there an application process or
so,
something
yes.
like that?
Yep.
I think
Okay, just
so.
So
to
any-
ask for, future reference if someone is interested, what is
There's
the
a-
process that they need to?
Right, there's an interview process that
Okay.
you have to go through, and I presume some sort of background check.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Clarifying that. Just a quick update on the Friends, what we've been doing, what we are planning to do. I'm thrilled to say our website finally is up and running, and people using it have found it user-friendly. We tried to make it very simple and so that they could navigate, yes, and find things.
You're going to give the website address?
Yes.
Good.
It is friendsofshrewsburyseniors.org. And we also have an email now. And we have designated several of our board members to man it, if you will. I mean, it doesn't do
Staff
any
it.
good to have an email if no one's going to be checking it. So we have decided that two people on our board have stepped up and said that they would, check it to be able to respond and answer questions and whatever. So the email is seniorfriends, and our zip code 01545 @gmail.com. The other piece of the puzzle to keep the lines of communication open and, being able to respond back to questions that people may have regarding the Friends, we are going to get a phone so that we have a phone number for people to call us. We're exploring the options and the cost. It will probably be an inexpensive cell phone that, we would be able to have a voicemail on it so that if it isn't answered, people are able to leave us a message and we can get back to them. And once again, designate one person to be able to, check those messages or have the phone on them to be able to respond hopefully quickly, to answer questions and be able to keep the lines of communication a little more active than they have been.
You might check with Shrewsbury, with Selco about phone through them instead of just through the phone company.
As I said, we're exploring our options because
Right.
cost is a factor. We don't want to spend a lot of money for something that we're not going to use a lot of options. As long as we can get calls, have a voicemail, and respond back, we're good with that. We don't need any other fancy things on it. So that was the next piece of the puzzle to, as I said, improve our communication. Holly had suggested that we have someone in the lobby to answer questions, periodically. We tried it. We had someone there for a couple of hours, and it was not very productive. So we may explore it again. Primarily, we are planning for the luncheon, the upcoming luncheon, in conjunction with the Spirit of Shrewsbury in September, the end of the month. We will have someone present in the lobby to answer questions and take reservations. It's a no-cost thing, so that there's no money involved, but registration can be a little crazy with that, because people tend to wait till the last minute. So with the help of the office staff and someone from the Friends, we hope it will be smooth sailing this year and not craziness at the end with, counts for the caterer and all of that. So we'll try it and see what happens, but it's not productive to have someone sitting there 2 hours and do nothing, so, especially where we're all volunteers and some people, like myself, do work full-time, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, with the website and the
I think that
email
will make
address,
a
that'll
huge
improve
difference.
things probably
I'm
greatly.
hoping. As I mentioned, the upcoming
Excuse me.
programs,
Renee has,
yes,
I just have a question. The senior center periodically has like major events. And like the emergency preparedness event that we're doing. Some of us are gonna be tabling there. Is that something that the Friends might do? Because that's where you're gonna get a lot of people and it's not really a waste of time, which is kinda nice.
when you say what are you looking for from the Friends exactly? Something that they might do,
Tabling at the event.
be at the table?
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah.
see.
There'll be different vendors tabling. I'm gonna be tabling there, trying to market the triad and that sort of thing, so.
and when is that?
That's October 22nd, so there should have, if you're signed up for our emails, you should have received an email. So what we're looking for is, so we received a grant to build 400 emergency preparedness kits to hand out to seniors. And what we're looking for is our stakeholders, partners, anybody from the community that is interested in assisting in building those kits. So what we're looking at is a minimum of 400 pieces of any listed item on our spreadsheet that would go into the emergency preparedness kit. Anybody that donates would be able to have a table at the senior center to interact with the community that comes in to get them. So again, that's 400 people that we would expect in that one day.
Well, it's something that, sounds like we would want to participate. I just need to bring it before,
That's in October, yep.
so we've got a little bit of time.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And you said there's a spreadsheet of items that you're looking for?
So we
Like
have a
to donate?
spreadsheet. All you have to do is email me, so if you're interested in
Okay.
looking at those, I share the spreadsheet with you. So there are, I think there are like 25 different items on there to choose from. And like I said, we're looking for a minimum of a 400 count to make sure that there's something for each kit that goes in there.
And do you have someone to, sponsor a bag, or what are you putting this stuff in to hold?
So so with the $4,000 grant that we received, we'll be purchasing, they're gonna be bins. They'll be like the storage bins that you would get at like Home Depot.
Okay.
So large enough to fit a gallon of water, paper towels, toilet paper, and et cetera.
Okay, great. Thanks. Sounds good. Just a recap of what we've been doing and what we're doing going forward with some of the programs. We have, our membership started July 1st, and we already have 146 people. Last year, we had a total of 300, so we're on our way, and our goal is to pump that 300 up. So, and from our brochures and the sign-up, we added a little piece on there looking for volunteers, because that's critical to any organization, and everybody is light in that department. And happily, we got 2 people to volunteer from that. So I think that with everything we're trying to do, we'll get the name out there more and be more visible and hopefully get more volunteers to help us. So that's the update on our membership. The next program that we have is September 16th, which sounds really exciting. It was researched by one of our members and brought forth to us, and it is the Blackstone Valley Strummers. And they are a large chorus of talented musicians and songsters, and they have instruments and talented voices, and they will be presenting most of America's famous and favorite tunes for the enjoyment of the community. So they're a large group, they're 15 people, and they're all seniors, and they're from all over, and I think it'll be a great program. We're looking forward to it, so we're, trying to, pump up the people to come out and see them.
And where is that happening?
It is September 16th at the Senior Center,
Oh, okay.
At what time?
1 o'clock. And we're, planning on doing a big rollout and publicity for it and brochures and all of that. And the interesting part is they're a large group and they do not charge a fee. They ask for a donation and they're happy to do it, and I'm looking forward to it. I've seen a little snippet of what they do and their talents, and it looks really, really great. So that's September 16th, the 29th, in conjunction with this year's 28th, I think, Spirit of Shrewsbury. We will have our senior luncheon. It used to be called the Tea because that's all it was, and now it has evolved over the last 18 years into a full-blown luncheon for the seniors of the community. And we honor specifically the seniors that are 90-plus with a certificate. We present them with a certificate from the Boston Cane that used to be a part of people turning 90. So that will be on the 29th, which is right after the parade, which is Sunday. And we will have, again, our VIP seating out in front of the town hall under the tent with sturdy armed chairs for our seniors to be able to have a VIP view of the parade going by. So that is the 29th. We are still celebrating our 100th birthdays, and we had 13, but sadly, a few people have passed. But right now, 10 birthdays of people turning 100 in the town. The last one that we did was July 1st, and that was Josephine Casillo, who turned 100 on June 30th. The next one we have coming up is August 27th, Michael Busada, and he will be becoming a centenarian. And we do have one that we missed that was in June that we couldn't coordinate the date, so we are backdating, and we have another one that we'll be celebrating at the same time we do the one for Michael. So that's our update on our geriatric crowd and our centenarians, which we are happy to celebrate. The only other thing I have is, in conjunction with Renee, looking for an update on our sensory garden. It seems as though it's been slow going since the Friends made their $5,000 donation, and I have personally solicited from people in the community a couple $1,000. So just looking for an update and what can we do. I still have a few letters of people that I'm sending out to reach out to in the community. I've gotten commitments from several people to be sponsors, like Britain's Funeral Home and Champa. So I do have some more donations coming in, but just what can we do to pump this up, because it's too slow going, and I'm anxious to get into the center of town and make that green line go up more, so.
Well, it's gone up another $100 since the other day. So,
Yay!
yay, so we're
We
at
need more zeros
7,400.
after that, though.
We're at $7,400, and
Yes.
what's the goal?
43,000,
Wow,
yeah,
We've got a long way to go.
we do.
that's okay.
Yep.
So I think that spills into your outreach report that comes next, right?
So if no one has any questions, that's basically all I have to report. Yes?
Yeah, a couple questions. The billboard that used to be in the center of town, is that still there?
Yes.
Do you
The
promote?
one that you put letters on that was
Yeah.
in front of Beal, I believe it is still there.
Is that something that is used for these types of events?
I think it used to be able to. I don't know who is in charge of it now, who has the letters. Before, it was just, we went into Beal and we got the letters, and whoever wanted to promote something, I would assume it had to be approved. You know, it was mainly Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, upcoming events for different, you know, groups in town, nonprofits, churches, whatever. But I have lost track. I really don't know how you would go about getting onto that board.
Still there.
So the board is still there, and I believe that you just have to contact, whoever's interested in that has to contact the town manager's office, and then they give them another resource. We have never utilized that board per se. We have utilized DPW lights in the past, like a long time ago, but I'm not really sure. I know I've seen, I mean, I see it updated frequently, but I don't know, I don't know the process myself.
It provides good visibility. for-
As I said, I've lost track of it. There is one little thing on it now. I don't even know what it is. It's just a couple of
Looks
lines.
slightly sloppy in
Right.
the past.
So,
I've got one more for you. Any thoughts to, it's a little bit far off, but as you know, time flies.
yes, I do.
Veterans Day, and is there anything in the
We are planning something with our November program to honor veterans. We tossed it about, and we're in the process of checking with two retired people in town that were in the military. I believe it's a husband and wife. I'm not sure. One of our board members was checking with them to come and speak. I understand that they are fabulous speakers, and doing something along with lines with them speaking, and then having maybe a band that does patriotic music or something like that. And it would be on one of our regular program days, Monday, the second or third Monday of the month. But we are planning on centering November on veterans.
How much should I have?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Maria.
Thanks.
Maria is gonna be the Grand Marshal at SOS this time.
That's my exit. I've been trying to get out of the Spirit of Shrewsbury for 22 years I've been involved. And this is our 28th or our 29th year, so this is it. This is my swan song.
Wow. That mean you get to ride in a car and everything?
Oh, yeah. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I'm always behind the scenes doing the commentary for the parade, doing the luncheon. I'm like, I can't be Grand Marshal. Who's going to do all this other stuff?
You need volunteers for that.
Yes, we do.
Very good. Okay. Moving on to the director's report, starting with outreach.
Okay. Hi there. So yeah, on the topic of the sensory garden, it is slow going. We are up to $7,400. And Maria has done a fabulous job doing outreach to her sphere in the business community and that sort of thing. I really don't know what more. I'd have to think about it, what more we could do to raise the profile. It's been in the newsletter every month. And I think, you know, it comes in dribs and drabs as people learn about it. I've had inquiries, and so,
Have we spent any of the money so far?
no. No, you know, there was a thought that as time went on, we might do some purchases, you know, perhaps furniture or whatever. But then Holly stepped up and decided that we needed to furnish the patio right away. So that's pretty much been taken care of. The rest is all big ticket items. So with the build out of the garden and the other items that would go along with it. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And welcome Raquel Even Wexler,
How's
board member
trouble?
has joined.
yeah.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, so regarding services, as you know, we have opened our new senior center food pantry as of July 20th. And right now, we have 13 people registered, which is really great, and who have visited the pantry. And today, I actually just put in my first order from Acton, from Boston area gleaners in Acton, to receive weekly produce from local farms. And we're going to be picking that up tomorrow, 12 banana boxes worth. And there are something like 15 different items of produce, of fruits and vegetables that are going to be picked up. And anything that we are unable to distribute inside the pantry, we will bring to the Housing Authority in order to use up that produce to the different communities, as well as put into the community fridge. So we'll see
Great.
how that goes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it looks tremendous already.
Yeah, we still have to finish up getting the shelves installed, but the cabinets are there. And, you know, people who have walked into the pantry are really delighted to see the way it looks, because I think most food pantries are not as typical, more typically, you know, probably a room like this, more like a warehouse kind of thing, you know?
Right.
And I wanted people to feel comfortable, like they were walking into a kitchen, and, you know, reduce the stigma of coming into a food pantry.
Right. It looks very professional.
Yeah.
The refrigeration units are very nice.
And so on that topic, for the first meeting, when a person registers, the purpose of that is to actually go over, do like a benefits review, so that I can help people with resources that they may have not have thought of, and that would also help with their budgets. So, which is all related to, you know, food security and housing and being able to afford those things if you're able to receive benefits on some of those items. So fuel assistance is going to be coming up. People should be receiving their renewal applications now through September, October. I don't have them yet myself. The applications that I get are for new applicants. And so when those come out, you know, that'll be in the newsletter. And the FY25 gross income requirements for fuel assistance for a single person is $49,196, and for a couple is $64,333. So those income requirements, you know, go up each year. If you do qualify for fuel assistance, the great thing about that is that you qualify for other programs, including weatherization. If you should have a heat emergency where you lose your heating system, and if it needs repair or replacement, a lot of times you can get that replaced. Last year, we had several leaking oil tanks replaced for residents who were on fuel assistance. So that's, you know, they pay, the program will pay for most or all of that cost. And you would also qualify for the Selco Internet Assistance Program of $20 a month off your internet. That's one of the requirements, is that you're collecting fuel assistance. So there are all of these related programs. When you get on one, you actually qualify for others, which is great. Also, I'd like to plug the Resident Assistance Program. It's Shrewsbury's program that goes through the end of November to assist people who are late on mortgage or rental payments. So to provide assistance up to $2,000 for that if you qualify, or for utility assistance if you have if you're late on a lot of those and you have a big balance, they can cover up to $1,000. So that goes until the end of November, until the money runs out. So anyone who wants more information on that can, you know, contact me. Also, the Medicare Savings Program, that this program, they have raised the income requirements and also removed the asset requirement. So a lot of people are going to qualify for that, and I've had many people come by my office and get applications for those. And the income requirement for that, for a single person, is an income of $2,824 a month, and for a couple, $3,833 a month. Lastly, on programs, we have a number of programs going on. Our monthly Coffee with a Cop, which is typically the first Monday of the month between 9 and 10:30. In some cases where there's a holiday like September coming up, it will be the following Monday. And we also have the Registry of Deeds and Probate. Those people are coming out, what are they called? Trying to think of the name of who they are. Anyways, they're gonna do a program on deeds and probate, and how, how your property, what happens when your property goes into probate, and different kinds of things about ownership, and basic information about wills and trusts and that sort of thing. And also, Raquel is, we're trying to get a list together of people who would like to do a free prescription medication review, and that includes reviewing your non-prescription items, because those can also have a tendency to interact with your prescriptions, and many people just, read about vitamins and how they help, and they go on these things, and a lot of times it's not only a waste of money, but it may be interacting with your prescription medication, so it's always good to have a review. And you can contact me on that. So that's pretty much it.
Does that include help navigating with coverage for prescriptions with either health insurance, well, I guess primarily health insurance, or
So-
navigating the tiers that a prescription falls under? Is that something?
We can talk about it. It's not the place, but this is a whole new area. It's every insurance is so different.
Right.
So it's not something, but we can talk about it.
So it requires really a Shine appointment, and Raquel is one of our Shine volunteers.
Perfect.
So, yep.
Thank you, Raquel. And so for any of these programs, Renee can be reached through the front desk at the senior center or by calling in.
Yep.
Renee, just a question on the Residence Assistance Program and the Utility Assistance Program. Is it possible that those that would qualify can take advantage of both?
Oh, yeah. You can take advantage of as many programs as you qualify for.
Okay,
Yeah. All right.
that cover it?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next,
Actually, there's one more thing. So we need to have the board talk about the policies and review of the food pantry.
that's what
And-
that's number
Yep, so
two
that-
there.
Right, so that's still
Okay.
under outreach for Renee.
Okay. Food policies and procedures. There's a couple, I think.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't prepared to talk. Did you want me to talk about it?
Nope,
Or-
so the board all received a copy of the policies that Renee and I put together. And this would be the opportunity, if the board has any questions, comments, suggestions, vote approval of moving them forward once any edits are made, if anybody had any.
I had one on the food pantry policy for emergency procedures, for emergency purposes. It refers to the Council on Aging Outreach Coordinator, parentheses, elderly, or the Youth and Family Services, parentheses, non-elderly. I thought elderly was not currently politically correct. That elders,
Well,
would be better.
yeah, typically it's older adults. But elderly is kind of it's kind of weird, like it's still used in housing as a definition, meaning people over age 62, and then family housing, people under age 62. It's used in a few different places so that people kind of recognize it. If you put older adult in there, people might think, oh, that could be over age 50 or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, it could be changed, but
We could put the word senior 60+ because that is what our department
Yeah.
focuses on,
yeah, good.
if that's,
And even senior is another word that people don't like. So
Right.
it's, but we do use that
Kind of
word
like
in our,
elder better, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
so when, if I might, when we discuss anything moving forward, like in the newsletter or anything, I always reference the word 60, the senior 60+.
which is in our
because
mission
It
statement.
is in our mission
And it's
statement.
also in
and
our
it's on
food
our-
pantry
It's on our
mission statement.
building also.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so if
So
the
we could do
board agrees,
I have-
I will change the word elderly to senior 60+.
Sorry.
Raquel?
I didn't read it again after I sent my comments to you. So the one thing I discussed briefly with Renee was the storage. And because the pantry and the center is not meant 7 days a week, what happens if on Friday the refrigerator goes kaflui the moment we left the building, and you come back on Monday? What do you do with the food that is requiring refrigeration? And the other thing is, when we worked at the place, it was darn hot, and I was wondering, is it going to be air conditioned? Because it wasn't.
So I'll take that on. So with any mishap or something unforeseen, just like we were talking about earlier about the funding, we would unfortunately have to throw away anything that didn't keep, repair the appliance or replace the appliance. And then as far as the other question was.
The AC in the room was.
Yes, so there
darn
has
hot.
been a public buildings request form to put in to make sure that the AC vent is properly on. I believe that before it became a food pantry, it had been shut off to reduce the amount of work that the compressor was doing. But since then, I do believe that the building, the maintenance personnel have been in there and turned that switch on. If they have not yet, please let me know.
it does
That way I
feel
can follow up.
cooler in there to me, yeah. So I didn't know if they did or they didn't, but it does feel much better.
So there's no notification if one of the refrigeration units shuts down? It
No,
doesn't- It's not tied to the Internet of Things, for
No.
example?
No.
Well, I would think that if there was a power loss, that usually the utility companies let people know that there's a power loss, and we would know.
Well, we are on a generator. Our building is on a generator. So if we lost power, that would not be an issue. But if an appliance was to fail, there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully, they're brand new. Hopefully, they'll last, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, do you need a motion to approve this policy as amended?
I'm not sure if we do, but I think that just to be safe to move forward, so then, because we have not yet shared these with fire or police, I think that would be a good starting point.
Yeah,
Okay.
this policy will evolve and potentially get amended as we go along, as we learn more about our operations, because this
Sure.
is so new, so, yeah.
Okay, motion to approve as amended, the food policy emergency procedure.
So moved?
Second?
Second.
Need more discussion? Otherwise, those in favor?
Aye.
And was there a second one? Or do we just do them?
Yeah, I think you just
As
put
a
them
group,
together,
okay.
yeah. Yep.
All right, so next, moving on to transportation.
Yep. So transportation, our special trips. So now that we've been under this new model for almost a year, it started last September, where the WRTA, their 2 vans take care of our medical work and shopping trips. We've been able to be lucky to have our 2 vans where we've been able to provide some great special trips each month. Those trips include casinos, they include museums, restaurants, special shopping trips. They do have to take place in the state of Massachusetts, so we've been trying to come up with really creative ideas, and those ideas have been established from Cynthia Willis, Transportation Coordinator, our 2 part-time van drivers, Bob and Don, as well as our 2 part-time office staff and the rest of the staff when needed. What we have noticed, what we were doing is any trip that was a long-distance trip, we were requiring a $10 registration fee, which holds their spot, and then it would be given back the morning of the event. The only time that wouldn't be given back is if this trip was canceled. And so,
If
but
they cancel the trip.
if they cancel the trip. If we cancel, obviously, we would reimburse. But what we've noticed is an increase in some of the cancellations. So what we're going to be starting in September is that all special trips will be a $10 deposit. And if a trip is canceled for whatever reason, those are not reimbursed. And one of the main things behind it is there's a lot of work that goes into putting together these trips that goes beyond just putting something on a piece of paper. It involves more with software. We schedule our van drivers who depend on being able to come into work and to be able to provide those special trips. And so what we're hoping is that people understand the amount of work that goes into this, which is the reason for the $10 registration. So again, this is going to start up in September. We'll evaluate how many people are still signing up, if we've lost anybody due to the $10 registration, but understanding at the same time that they will receive it back as long as they show up for the trip. Any questions on that?
Yeah, Holly, capacity on the vans, number 1. Number 2, you said a frequent amount of cancellations or an uptick in cancellations. Any indication why that is? And I guess that's it.
So I think some of the cancellations either have to do with, the heat that we've been having, where people just don't want to go out because of the heat, or forgetting they had something else going on, or just forgetting the trip entirely. And then, I'm sorry, Larry, what was your?
The capacity.
Oh, the capacity. So, one van, our bigger van holds up to 20 people, while our other van holds 16. Those numbers fluctuate depending upon how many wheelchair riders are on there. And they also fluctuate on whether or not anybody needs adaptive equipment. So if somebody brings a walker or a cane or whatever it might be, those things all have to be harnessed down, and which takes up a spot. So when anybody calls for a ride, there's multiple questions being asked. So when Cynthia is able to review the ride request slips, we can then determine how many people we can fit on the vans.
Have you been tracking for each event typically what the attendance is as to people showing up?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, that's a great question. Starting in September, we'll be giving you all of that data of how many people are attending what kind of events, whether it's a restaurant, we went to the beach last month, and things like that. So, yeah, so we'll be providing that starting in September.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Moving on to that, so one of the other things that has been happening with transportation is Cynthia's been growing the amount of outreach she's been offering as far as letting people know how our transportation system is working, to the point where she went so far the other day to go to each housing authority room and placed flyers underneath people's doors, because if they had missed the newsletter or they don't have ability to come to the senior center for whatever reason. So Cynthia also has brought down 3 communication stands to each of the housing sites where she regularly updates them with new flyers, our newsletter, and on top of that, she and Renee are growing the outreach to provide special event luncheons, bingo, things like that, and really making us more seen over at the housing authorities. And I applaud her, she took this on, and I applaud her efforts, because it has definitely grown our transportation, for sure.
One more question, please.
Sure, Larry.
Are these events promoted on the Shrewsbury cable channel?
Not typically. So when we do something on the Shrewsbury Cable Channel, we usually do our larger main senior center events. And usually, like I said, when we're marketing towards the Housing Authority, we keep it to the outreach that Renee and Cynthia does, and then we're in coordination with the executive director down there to spread anything, anything else that we want to make them aware of.
Great. Okay,
Yep.
moving on.
Yep.
No
So,
way.
yep, so now we're in C. So our first item of discussion is Friends Memorandum of Understanding Review. To give a little background on the Memorandum of Understanding, so beginning in FY '22, I believe it started, was each department and full-time staff member is required to submit goals, and this is how we kind of grow the growth of each department. And one of the goals of Casey's last year for FY '24 was to build MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding, with any groups that utilize the senior center to a larger capacity. This does not include our weekly events like our fitness or our knitting or anything like that, but more so people that, groups that need storage, groups that need specific assistance from the COA department to make their events run. Presently, we have one working with Memory Cafe. We also have one for our wellness, Are You OK callers, and then we began to build one for the Friends of the Shrewsbury Senior Center to come up with an MOU, so there's an understanding of what the Friends require from us and what we would require from the Friends. It is an agreement, not a contract, but I did want to share it for the board's review and to answer any questions that anybody might have.
Okay. It looked pretty thorough, and, it can always be amended, but the town has encouraged this, just so that we be better organized and work better with them in the setting up and tearing down. So, the center has grown, the demand on the staff and with the programs and all, it's just something that's really needed, so, very good.
Very good. Moving on,
I'm
so.
sorry, did we need a motion on that?
I don't think that you do.
Okay, all right.
I think there might be a
Alright.
question
good.
in the audience, if you want.
Yes.
Speak for a minute
If you,
MOU.
if you'd like to come up to the desk, if Alex
Chair?
agrees.
Do we need to amend our agenda for public comment?
So moved.
Yeah, so
Second?
move. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ruth, I'm sorry. Louise.
Thank you. I'll just take a minute of your time. I'm Louise Russell. I'm a former member of this board and former chair. Alex is doing a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm also a member of the Friends. I have been for 25 years. And I'm concerned about the MOU that Holly was just talking about. We received this, the Friends received it on the 1st of July. Not ever having seen it before, I've not heard about it out of the blue, and I'm not sure when you just got it. Alex signed it, but I don't know that the board discussed it. If you have any, have they seen it before today?
Well, they have, and I know we've discussed it internally and discussed it with the town, but
Who in the town has encouraged this?
So as I mentioned, this was part of Casey's departmental goals for her individual goals for the COA department. And this had been approved by the town manager's office because we have to submit our goals prior and we have discussions about that. So one of the discussions it was, and this has been in years in the making, is making sure that the senior center is utilized to the best of its ability and the understanding of all parties of how the senior center works and the needs of not only the senior center, but of the groups that utilize the senior center.
I understand, that the reason, I think the MOU itself is misused. So I looked it up in the dictionary to see what it is, and everything that I read says it's basically for businesses, basically in the beginning, to, like a building, you're gonna build something, and the two parties get together, and that's what an MOU is.
I've seen them used with lots of
In
organizations.
different, I know, I said the majority of the.
And not just at the start of an organization,
I
but
said
throughout.
The Friends will be 25 years old, 30 years old, excuse me, next year. So we're far from a new organization. But I also, without any consideration or any consultation, I guess is the word, with the Friends. We had nothing to do with this, no part of it whatsoever.
Well, I think there was some back and forth with the Friends, with Maria. And what specific concerns do you have with the text of the
We
MOU?
really, the ironic part, I was looking through some of my old papers. I don't get rid of much of anything. Exactly 5 years ago today, 2019, in our August board meeting, we did the policies and procedures, the upgrade from the 2013. And it contains many pages of the policies and procedures, which every group that went to the senior center received a copy of it when they signed up to be in the thing. I don't know where that ever went. We used it for years and years and years. And that included a lot of the information that is in this MOU, and that every group got it, not just certain groups. If there in fact was something different about our group, then that should have been brought to us individually and discussed with the two groups together. That, I think, is basically our point.
So if I might?
Sure.
So I'm not sure about the 2019 policies you're talking about because I came in in 2020. However, in 2021, the policies and procedures of the Shrewsbury Senior Center and Council on Aging Department had been revised and approved by the board, which I do believe that you were part of. But everybody who utilizes the senior center, whether they're a volunteer, a program facilitator, or any outside source that uses the senior center, they do get a copy at the time when they come into the senior center of the policies and procedures and it more spells out the expectations of the senior center, the things that would not be allowed. So it goes into things like sleeping in the lobby or smoking or aggressiveness or anything like that. But one of the things moving forward, because we have so much more use happening out of the senior center by particular groups, such as the Friends, the Memory Cafe, the Men's Club, we needed to take it a bit further because there is now storage involved, there's scheduling of other departments involved, and there's
Set up and
there's
take
food
down.
up, yeah. So that's why the expansion and kind of this other appendage adding to the policies and procedures for not all of our groups, but for the groups that provide services just like the Friends of the Senior Center does. And
I
this,
think-
and leading up to this,
I
there have been
don't
many
want to
emails.
belabor this because I know your time is short. But I think that this is the discussion that needs to be held, either between the board and the Friends Board, or between the, director and our president, or whomever. I think it needs to be something other than what was received, and I think that is our major problem. And there was a meeting scheduled that was canceled the first part of August, and no new meeting has been scheduled. So we're hoping maybe that before any more approval is given, we would like to have further discussion and try to go back and forth to see, which should have been done before it was even written or finalized.
So just to speak to that, there had been many email exchanges where where I did include Alex in some of those emails leading up through the FY '24 year, saying that we were working on the memorandum of understandings, not always with a response. The reason why the August meeting was canceled was because there was no, the invitation was not accepted by anybody from the Friends or, and Alex. So it was suggested by the town, Assistant Town Manager Keith Baldinger, that we put it out one more month where we will be meeting in September. The date is already secured. With a member of Friends. It was Maria that had been invited, also Alex, and Assistant Town Manager Keith Baldinger and myself. So there is a meeting scheduled, which is, again, in the meantime, while we didn't meet in August, felt it important to, again, share this with the board in case anybody had any questions today. Raquel's got some.
Raquel?
So is there a current policy of the Friends in our policy?
No.
So how can we find a copy of what you've mentioned from 5 years ago?
I'm sorry?
The policies that you said you'd found all the time at your home?
Well,
Maybe- yeah.
there were new policies
Yeah.
created once I got here,
Yeah.
and those are actually on the town website. They're on the COA website.
And that does not include anything about Friends?
There's not a particular group mentioned,
Okay.
because because that's where the policies and procedures that is on the website it's for everybody. It's not for one particular group. That's where the MOU comes into place, because where, as I mentioned before, the Friends utilize the senior center to a greater capacity than most of our other programs and events that happen.
And is it so different from the policy? Otherwise, you wouldn't have created it, correct?
It's more specific.
Okay.
Yes. So the MOU shows what the senior center and the COA department is looking for, to provide them what they need, and at the same time, it's an opportunity for us to be able to provide them what they need. So making sure that we're always on the same page. So that way, if there is a conflict, we can work it out according to what the MOU is.
So I believe we are not in that place yet. I think we need to wait till the meeting that you guys meet in September and see what comes out of it.
We can do that. Right. And part of it is with larger groups, it requires town custodial services to help with setup and takedown, which is not directly under Holly's purview, obviously. So the demands on that person have grown, and they just needed more notice for setup and takedown. So,
Understood?
sure, we can do it that way. We can table this.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Louise.
Moving on to the section COA number 2, Senior Center Statistics. So we did provide some statistics that Casey will share via the monitors. Whoops, sorry. One of the things before we get into the statistics, I wanted to just explain where these statistics came from. So everybody's should by now have heard of My Senior Center kiosk over at the Senior Center. So every time somebody swipes their card over there, we collect data. So some of these graphs are from that. Actually, all of these graphs are from that. But in addition, in the last month, we also received our new hoop board kiosk. And the hoop board kiosk is another form of being able to provide communication to the community via technology. And so they can use the technology piece of the kiosk when anybody comes into the senior center, or they can download the application right to their telephone, and they get the same information that's on the kiosk at the senior center right to their telephone. And did we provide one graph from that for today? But moving on, we'll be providing both statistics from the My Senior Center software that we collect, as well as the hoop board. So I'm going to turn this over to Casey so she can talk about the graphs that you're seeing.
All right, so we're currently looking at the average daily attendance, and we have data from all of 2022, all of 2023, and up through July of 2024. As you can see, for 2024, we've had a pretty significant jump and a lot more visitors. And aside from June, we have really consistently had more visitors, average daily attendance at the senior center all of 2024 so far. So that's really exciting, and that means that people are, even if the actual attendance may be different, we think it is, we are seeing a lot more new people coming in, but also people are actually scanning in on a regular basis. So that helps us track information as to how the senior center is utilized and helps us to understand what programs are working, and helps us to apply for grants as well. So on the next page, we have the event check-ins just for July of 2024. So programs, that kind of runs the gamut. And we had 677 check-ins just in July. And then for our outreach programs, we had 178. And then for nutrition, so like dining, the congregate lunches, we had 144 over the course of July. And let's see. We also have information on the typical gender of our visitors. We have a lot more female visitors. We are trying to get more men interested in coming to see what we have going on. We know Thursdays are very popular with the men's club, so we do get a lot of men that come in that day of the week. We also have information as to whether the visitors live in Shrewsbury or live outside of Shrewsbury. So again, the majority of the folks that come to visit are visitors that reside in Shrewsbury, but we do have a small amount that comes in from outside of town. And just a reminder to everyone that, you know, we are open to everyone. We're not going to really turn anyone away. So other towns are welcome to come and participate in our programs, and we welcome all the visitors. So, and then for the hoop board stats, so this information is so we got the hoop board installed in early August. So it's only been there for, a week or two at this point?
It was actually July 27th, I think, is when it came in.
Okay.
But we just did the August stats.
Yep, okay. So this document shows where people, how much engagement we're having and where that engagement is coming from. So whether the green lines are the kiosk engagement, so that's what's actually at the senior center in the lobby, and then the pink is the engagement from the web and mobile application. So we're getting a pretty decent amount of engagement. We do have about 20 followers at this point, so we're trying to get the information out there more because we have a lot of really good info on there. We post all of our flyers for events. If there's cancellations, we put those on there as well. And then if we go down, this will show us what people are actually looking at. So the biggest one is learning about hoop board, but we also have people are looking at the flyer for Senior Citizen Day on Wednesday, August 21st. They're looking at the menu for the lunches. They're looking at our staff information. So we posted just a questionnaire just so people can get to know us a little bit better along with our own photos. And they're very interested in getting to know us as staff at the Senior Center. So that's pretty cool. And they're also looking at, food menus, looking for alerts, all that kind of stuff. And then we also have other things that they're looking at. They're looking at schedules, special events and programs, nutrition information. So this is how many times they're tapping on the specific apps that are at the top of the hoop board. So again, the largest interest is the Council on Aging staff. So again, people want to get to know us, so that's pretty cool that we can just put that out there so people don't have to feel too shy, and just what our scheduled weekly events are, and then looking at what our special events and programs are. And that are the stat. Any questions?
Sorry,
Go ahead, Raquel.
Mina?
No,
Oh.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, do you know how many people have already, maybe I missed it, signed up to that hoop board?
I think it was 23 as of this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have like a plan to have like orientation?
Yeah.
So our September newsletter, front page and in the middle, talks a lot about what the hoop board is. It provides QR codes that people will be able to sign up for on there. In addition to that, we have provided 2 information sessions in the month of September, one in the afternoon, one in the morning, that will also provide refreshments too. So what we will do is actually work from hoop board from our computer to show everybody what it is. We'll show everybody the kiosk, and we'll also assist people in navigating the application on their telephone. And then we'll keep providing these throughout the next few months.
Good, thank you.
What is the monthly cost on something like that? Because the upfront cost was quite large, so.
So there is no monthly cost. We paid for everything right up at the very beginning. So we won't pay anything for another 3 years. And at that time, I don't want to speak to what the numbers might be, because I'm sure that they'll probably escalate a little bit. But right now, there are no monthly fees.
And then who's responsible for keeping it current?
So that is Casey and I. So whenever we're at our computer, something new comes up. So what's great is we're not duplicating our work, but we were before Hoopboard, because what was happening is actually we were tripling our work, because we were making the flyers, hanging them, distributing them somewhere, and trying to update them, which takes a lot of time. And now we really don't have to do that, because as soon as we make one, we add it to the Hoopboard. We don't think about it again until it's time to take it down. So, and as Casey mentioned, there's a lot of features of it, and one of the best features of the hoop board, especially on your phone application, is you get the information real time versus waiting for the newsletter to come out on the 1st of every month. So you find out things almost a whole month before. There's already stuff in there for October. So it's great planning. We're able to update it on a regular basis. We always have it up. And the other great thing is the staff can give us everything. There's a tab for the friends. So, Casey, I don't know if you can bring up just the hoop board top so people can see, but when you go to hoop board on our kiosk or on your phone, if you press any one of the tabs, and including the friends, it takes them right to their website. Their brand new website, it takes that right to them. So it does that for our website. As soon as Casey gets it up, she'll be able to show you. It talks about Renee's outreach corner. So here's a little bit on, if you'll take a look at the screen. So this is kind of what you'll see on the kiosk. So all those little tabs, those colorful tabs at the top, same thing at the kiosk. You press one of them. Casey, actually, we go to the staff one that you've been talking about. So here's a little bit about all of our staff. We all answered the same questions. We provided a couple of pictures. We thought this would be nice before somebody walks into the senior center to kind of know who you're going to be talking to when you get there. Will you go to the Friends tab, please?
Friends tab brings you right to the Friends website. If it loads.
Did you tap it?
I did.
There we go. And then you can go back to the home tab. So, and then can you just, one more thing, can you do the cancellations so people can see that? There's a bunch of tabs, but these are the ones that are currently getting most used. So here's all the cancellations that will happen. And as you can see, we've already got a couple of Octobers up there. And as soon as the day goes by, we'll take them down so there's not too much clutter. So again, everything that you see right here, everything that you see on the kiosk can be easily downloaded to your telephone. And again, it's all real time and it's all updated almost every day. Any questions on any of the graphs that Casey shared, or the hoop board, or the My Senior Center kiosk?
So if you download the app on your whatever device, can you get notifications of changes and?
You would have to
Whatever.
go to, I don't know if it notifies you, but you would have to go to each app that you'd be interested in to see if there was any changes.
Okay, so it won't put a little notification.
like a number one
Yeah,
or
in the
something.
corner.
No, not necessarily.
There may be a setting within the Hoop Board app to give you notifications. You probably just have to turn that on or allow it to send notifications.
This is great.
How do I download that?
So there is a QR code, and I can share that afterwards. Everybody will have it in their September newsletter that they'll be able to do, but you can also come to the senior center. There's a QR code right on the kiosk that you can download. Casey, I don't know if after this, we can send everybody the email so you can get that for yourselves,
That'd be great.
okay?
And then we could forward it to anyone.
Everybody, yes. Yep.
Yes.
So if there's no questions, I'm going to keep going, just because
Okay.
we've got about 20 minutes left. MCOA conference. So every year, Massachusetts Council on Aging holds a conference somewhere in the state of Massachusetts. This year, it's in October on the weekend, during the week of the 23rd, 25th. It's at the Seacrest Resort, Falmouth, Mass. I have not yet received the registration links as of yet, if anybody wants to register. Casey, Renee, Alex, myself, we've all gone in the past. You certainly don't have to go for all days. You don't have to go for any days if you don't want to. But they do provide a list, a plethora of topics that people can choose from to go. And your transportation is reimbursed. And so with the fees, there should be no fees. We pay for all of the fees out of the COA department, out of the operating budget. So I should have more information on the registration link come September.
I attended last year, and there wasn't really that much for board members, so I just sat in on some of the sessions for the directors and got to meet some of the state folks. So it was helpful. I was surprised there wasn't more for board members, but maybe that'll increase. But it was worthwhile.
Number 4, EOEA, that is the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. So we received an email, or I received an email a couple of weeks ago that Governor Healy had signed for our annual formula grant to be increased to $15 per senior. That still has to go to vote. So it's not absolutely confirmed yet. My guess is we will probably find out somewhere in November. Pretty much is what we found out last year. So currently, it's $14 a senior, and it follows the 2020 census, which is about 8,300 seniors for the town of Shrewsbury. So for every senior that is 60 plus, we receive $14. So we receive approximately $120,000 from the formula grant. If it goes up to $15, we would expect another just over $9,000 for us to have. Again, I'll keep everybody notified when that is a secured grant number. Number 5, MCOA grant. So we talked about this a little bit earlier. So the Shrewsbury Council on Aging Department received a $4,000 grant from Massachusetts Council on Aging, and that grant is going to be utilized for the October Emergency Preparedness Month that we talked about a little bit earlier. Our goal is to make 400 kits. So for any adult living in a residence, so if it's a husband and wife, you would come in, you would get the 2 kits. You do have to be a Shrewsbury resident. We are asking stakeholders, people in the community, partners, anybody that wants to be involved in creating these kits. We do have a spreadsheet that has items that are available for you to choose from for your business to donate to the kits. On top of that, any business or any persons that donates, we will provide your business logo on all marketing materials up until the day of the event and after. And as well as an opportunity for anybody that donates to the kits to be able to be available that day at the senior center, to be able to talk to any of the community members that come in while they're receiving their kits. And again, we're expecting foot traffic of at least 400 people, so that's a great opportunity for anybody to be able to connect with any of our Shrewsbury seniors. Before I move on to programs, any questions on section COA? Okay. Moving on to programs. One of the things I did want to mention, Larry, you had asked the Friends earlier if they had anything happening for the veterans in November. For the past 3 years, the COA department has provided a veterans luncheon on the Thursday before Veterans Day. We utilize our portion of our formula grant. What we do is, last year, I think we had 75 people. So 75 people, and people could take a guest if they wanted to. And we have provided entertainment in the past. We have a catered meal come by any one of our fantastic Shrewsbury businesses. And that is a very successful event. So that more news of that will be coming. But just to move on, so originally you see Betsy's name on here, so she was gonna work with us to talk about the monthly programs, but I'm just gonna take it from there. So happening on Wednesday, August 21st is Senior Citizen Day. So we also utilize a portion of our formula grant to purchase 200 Dean Park gift certificates in the amount of $10. I do want to mention that Dean Park also contributed $50 worth to those 200 gift certificates. So starting on Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the morning up until we don't have any certificates left. These are for Shrewsbury seniors only. People can come in, they will have to show proof of ID, and they'll be able to receive their $10 gift certificate in honor of Senior Citizen Day.
To use it where?
Dean Park.
Dean Park
Dean Park Pizza.
Pizza.
Oh,
So wait a minute.
To talk about our Interage Alliance program. So that is our program that we have created for our high school students that I believe we've had 3 or 4 meetings now. The students have created their own board. They voted on their own board. They are planning bi-monthly events. Their first monthly event will be in October. Casey, along with Diane Tonelli, will be providing dementia-friendly workshop for them at their next meeting next Tuesday. So this is open to any students that want to come and participate. You will receive a certificate that day for going through the certification. But we thought that that was hugely important to make sure that what we're doing within the community out of our department, we're also connecting with the programs and the people within the programs, including the Interage Alliance. One of the programs that falls onto the Interage Alliance program now is our Yahoo, which is the Young Adults Helping Out Others. We have 2 student managers that will be taking charge of that program, along with Casey, who has been working diligently with seniors that have called her to get into a part of this program. So what that entails is a senior would call up who has some yard pickup needs, and they call Casey. Casey asks a series of questions, and then we will connect with them and let them know what dates they can expect the Yahoo program, the participants to come to their house. Before I move on from that one, any questions on the Interage Alliance or Yahoo? Okay, moving on. Alzheimer's Bake Sale. I'm going to actually give that to Casey for her to speak of.
Yep, so,
Just one, sorry to interrupt. When is the next meeting for the Yahoo?
So the next the Interage Alliance meetings are every Tuesday. So the next one is this coming Tuesday, I believe is the 20th?
yeah, every other Tuesday.
Every other Tuesday. So
at
Casey.
what time is that meeting?
They're always 5 to 6. We provide food for them, so whether it's pizza or sandwiches or something like that, we always provide that. And they are working on an October event, and so again, it will be bi-monthly. So they'll do October, December, February, and then they graduate in April.
Yep.
These are high school students.
High school students.
Okay.
Just gonna look for- So the Alzheimer's Bake Sale, we were so successful with the Shrewsbury Youth and Family Services Bake Sale that we decided that instead of doing a short walk like we did last year, we'd get a little bit more engagement through another bake sale for the Alzheimer's Association. So we are currently trying to raise funds for the Alzheimer's Association. All right, here we go. It's just taking a little while to open up, so let me share this. There she is. Alright, so we have this flyer here, and so we're still looking for volunteers, both to help us at the actual bake sale event, as well as people to bring in baked goods for us to sell. So just call the senior center. We do have a sign-up sheet up at the reception desk, and you can just let us know if you're going to bake or if you're going to come help us out the day of, or both. That's awesome. We do ask that all baked goods be dropped off the day before so that we can make sure that we're organized the day of the event. So as I said, we are working to raise the money already. So if anyone scans the QR code on this flyer, you'll be taken to the Shrewsbury Senior Center team page on the Alzheimer's Association, and you can donate directly through there. We are also taking donations at the Senior Center at the reception desk, and you can get, if you donate $5 or more, you'll get a little flower that you can put your or a loved one's name on, and we'll post it up around the reception desk. And then the exciting thing is, if we raise $5,000 between now and 2 p.m. on the day of the bake sale, we have invited our 2 Dementia Friendly Action Team select board members, Michelle and Carlos, to kindly, nicely shove pies in our faces, mine and Holly's faces. So, and if we do reach that $5,000 by 2 p.m. and that does happen, there will be photographic and video evidence. So don't worry if you can't be there that day. I'm sure you'll be able to see it. But yeah, we are looking for donations or even just participation in the bake sale. Any little bit helps, and I will be reaching out to some residential bakeries, residential kitchens that donated a lot of really awesome stuff for the May bake sale. So I'm looking forward to that. And Table Talk Pies is donating some pies as well.
How do you intend to sell these? Like if you just bake it and...
Yep, people will just bake the goods, they'll bring it in. A lot of times people bake cookies, things that are easy to individually wrap. If able, we'd love for people to individually wrap them before bringing them in, but we do have some things, some bags and boxes available for us to do that. And then we would just sell them, 50 cents, $1, whatever, and people, it was very, very well attended last time. So the bake sale itself is on September 11th starting at 12, and we'll have it going until about 2 p.m.
So it's open for
Now
all the...
sorry.
So it's open to all the Shrewsbury residents to come in and buy?
Open to anyone
Anybody.
to come.
And
Yep,
To walk
anyone.
in.
Yep,
Drop-off is on the 10th.
correct.
Yeah, and anybody that wants to donate items, they need to bring in the ingredients of the items. That's super important. So if you store buy it, it's all set. We don't need to worry about that unless you take it out of the store package and separate it. We still need that original package. But if you're baking something from scratch, we do need all of the ingredients included. So if no questions, I'm just gonna go on to the last item that we have, and that's the Heroes Awards.
just one, apologies. So is the time, like the bake sale is from 12 to 2 p.m., right?
Yep.
So is that too restrictive for people to come, especially who's office going and schools or any?
So the one we had in May, there were people already kind of lining up right around noon, and we did that one from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So we decided based on the activity that happened last time in May that 12 to 2, because it slowed down after a couple of hours. There weren't really very many people coming in anymore. So we think the 12 to 2 will be a good time. It's a pretty active part of the day at the senior center as well. So it kind of trying to optimize how many people are already there.
That works, that's good. Thank you.
Is that the same day as this meeting?
Yeah.
Our next meeting, the 11th?
Yep.
Okay.
So the last item, besides the nutrition one, is the Heroes Awards. So I want to thank both Raquel and Larry for their time in choosing the 2024 Heroes Awards recipients. Those recipients are for the seniors 60 plus, Walter Rice. For the ages 19 to 59, Robert Koenig. And for under 18 was Yashavi Donthabakin. Did I say that right?
Vishnavi.
Vishnavi?
I don't know
Yeah.
how to pronounce
Vishnavi.
the last name, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Vishnavi.
sorry, so Vishnavi. So Raquel, I don't know if you want to, or Larry, want to just mention something about the process?
Yeah, okay. It was interesting. We expected 12 people to be 12 nominees, but we had 79 to evaluate letters.
Wow.
So that was kind of nice. They had about the same theme for the people that we ended up nominating. Is they had probably the best write-ups, their contribution to the community as well as the town, aging population, and really made sense to us to nominate them. The girl that was the up to 18 was really had many people nominating her. It was something we noticed. There was a lot of kind of probably copycat nominations, people joined up together and probably put them in there. But it was, those three people really felt meaningful contribution, and we chose them. We had, I don't remember how many people were nominated, but when you have one person per category of age, you have to decide which is the one you go with, and that's what we decided to go with.
Yeah, and I'd also like to say that while these three stood out, there were several nominations that were very impressive as well.
Yeah.
The people that were nominated should feel very proud, and the people that submitted the nominations, thank you very much.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you both.
Do the categories still make sense, the three categories?
We didn't
Now
do
that it's
categories
somebody
this
now?
year.
No, it's okay. It was age, basically, the categories were age.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great. Thank you. That was a lot to do.
So, last item on the agenda is the FY25 Tuesday dinners. So Sirloin Catering in Northborough is providing our Tuesday night dinners. We order just as many as people reserve, so we have 25 allotted, and if only 18 sign up, that's how many we order so we can secure our formula grant funds, because that's how the Tuesday night dinners are provided. We also provide dinners to our 2 volunteers. But it's going well, it's well received. We've heard wonderful things about the dinners. And that's really all I have to say about that. So, Alex, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay. Next item is any new business or old business?
I actually just had a quick one. Ruth, if you had a minute, I don't know if you want to talk. So Ruth and I are in a human leadership team workshop with a couple other departments, and if Ruth doesn't mind, just maybe providing a minute or two.
Well, it's all the town's human resource departments, the library, the youth services, the Council on Aging. And it's a double workshop sponsored by the town manager to see where there's comparability, where there's challenges, where there's weaknesses, what can be done to be sure that all human services are truly covered in Shrewsbury. And the first 3-hour session was extremely impressive. And there is a lot of comparability in some of the challenges too, and the problems. And the next workshop is going to see how we can blend all of this together and come up with some good suggestions to streamline things for the town. Did I miss
Wonderful.
anything?
Yeah, no, that's perfect, thank you.
Great.
Is it discussing duplication of work that provided by one board, another, they're gonna try and make sure it's provided in a uniform way? Because
That's what they're looking at, is there's some
Okay.
things that can be more centralized, and things that, just very carefully look at where the strengths and the weaknesses and the challenges are across all the the Human Services. It was extremely interesting. Plus, they're using this whiteboard, which for a senior is a little bit challenging. But it's very impressive because they were able to capture everything from the beginning all the way through. I found it to be a very stimulating afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the next one will be equally so.
Thanks for doing. Anything else? And again, thank you for helping with the Heroes Awards. If there's not any more new or old business, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by,
Aye.
or getting up and walking out.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, I get to go to another memorial service.
Almost made it in.